Hello guys, welcome to Captain Dorja's Armory. This is Captain Dorja. We're doing something a little different today. We're going to take a look at a T-54 battle, but this is not a battle that I played myself. Just bear with me while I set up the over-target markers. I'm not sure why World of Tanks replays do this now, but my over-target markers are always set to default when I watch a replay, so I got to reset these up, which is a little annoying, but I'm used to it by now. So anyway, this is a battle that a subscriber sent in. I've put up 2 subscriber replays from him before. This is Rochi. He plays on the EU server. He's a pretty decent player. And this is a battle in the T-54 on Airfield. Let's see. Let's just increase the size of the map here. Let's get that mini-map nice and big. Yeah, so Rochi's in his T-54. You can see, it looks like he's fully upgraded. He's got the turret, he's got the gun, and he's moving pretty good, so it looks like he's probably got the engine as well. Rochi plays on the EU server, just in case I didn't already mention that. And if you see him in the comments or anything on YouTube, he's Mateo Bekovic. So, pretty cool guy. Sends replays in every now and then. If you guys want to send in any replays, feel free to do so. You can send them to my email address, which is CaptainDorjasArmory@gmail.com, and I will put that in the description as well. And, feel free to send any replays you want, and just make sure that it's of the current version of the game, because I don't back up my game client for old replays. So Rochi has come to the middle of Airfield. He's on top of the hill, which is a bold move, but it's a move that can really pay off. Now, he's going to have to be careful with that GW Tiger on the enemy team and that GW Panther. Those are 2 nasty artilleries that can really hurt him. But it looks like he knows what he's doing. His team has a really strong base camp presence, which I would not generally consider to be a great tactic. But it looks like Rochi's having none of that. He can see the enemy Centurion 7-1, and he's moving over to back up his teammates against this guy. Centurion 7-1 is a very strong Tier 9 medium, and Tier 7 heavies going against the Cent 7-1. That is just not going to work. So you can see Rochi maneuvering over here to try and help his teammates out. Now, unfortunately, the 2 Tier 7s behind him just went down, so that's not good. But it's very obvious that what he was trying to do there was hoping for some fire onto that T-54, who was last spotted up in B5. Now, using the low profile of the T-54, he's poking around the corner. He's got good cover from the dead KV-3, but his position is not that secure. The artillery's after him, the Centurion's moving up, and the T-29 is moving up through the middle. So he's got to be careful. T-29's definitely looking at him. Now, the good thing about the T-54 is that it's a very well-armored Tier 9 medium tank, so with good driving and good angling and positioning against the T-29, you can pretty reliably deflect their shots. Now, the friendly ELCs, rather, played a pretty brave game there with that T-29 and drew some attention away from Rochi, allowing him to more easily secure the kill. So good team play by those 2 ELCs, and it looks like they're going to head into the middle and do some typical ELC shenanigans. Now at this point, what I'm thinking is that Centurion 7-1 is going to be pretty open to attack, so I would have just gone after that Cent 7. And it turns out it's probably a good thing for Rochi that he didn't do that, because the 5100 is ready and waiting, and a 5100 is a dangerous, dangerous tank. So we can see Rochi punishing the enemy T-29, but it's very obvious that the 5100, fully intends to keep him spotted and do as much damage to him as he can once he gets an opportunity. So Rochi takes a shot at the enemy TD right there. I can't pronounce that thing's name. I'm just going to call it the Mega Dick. Quickie Baby calls it the Mega Dick because it's like a giant Dicker Max. So that's what I'm going to call it, the Mega Dick. Mega Dick is pretty weakly armored, so if Rochi can hit Mega Dick again, Mega Dick will be killed. Now, if you look at the map, we can see the enemy T-54 is broken through, and it's very clear that Rochi has just seen that as well. But he wants to get the Mega Dick out of the way before he goes and deals with the T-54. And that was probably a good decision. Mega Dick is a pretty weak tank, so if you can easily remove Mega Dick from the game and prevent him from shooting you in the butt, that's probably a good move. So Rochi's now fighting the enemy T-54, and he's switched to Heat. And that is a move that I can actually understand. Maybe not a move that I personally would make, considering my hatred of T-54 Heat, but it is a valid thing to do. And there's a couple of reasons why. The T-54 is well enough armored that it can actually be hard at times to penetrate the front of another T-54 with the 200mm pen gun. So the Heat means that he can basically penetrate every shot. And the other reason why, using Heat is a lot more acceptable basically right now is Rochi's basically on his own, and he's in a pretty tough spot. He needs to come out on top, or else his team's going to be in trouble. So, using the Heat to make sure that he can take out both the T-54 and the 5100 was it was a pretty fair thing to do. That's the sort of limited usage of Heat shells that doesn't make me want to punch a baby. So I can forgive him for that. And it's also something I've done before. I get my T-54 into a dire situation, especially when I have to fight another T-54 in a straight-up fight or on about even health. Yeah, I'll pop the Heat shells in, because if I know that if I pop the Heat shells in, I'll basically auto-pen, and if he doesn't pop the Heat shells in, I can bounce him maybe a third of the time, and that means that I win. So, totally understandable, and probably the right move in that situation to make sure that his team gets the win. So you can see up here on top of the hill, he's looking for shots on the 5100, and at this point it's pretty unlikely that the enemy team is going to manage the victory. They're down to just a 5100 and a GW Panther against an E75, a T-54, a Jagdtiger, an AC-48, and 3 artillery. So this battle is basically over, and with the AC-48 and the E-75 looking for the 5100, Rochi has decided, screw that, I don't need to worry about that 5100. I'm going to come take the base and look for the arty. Now, it looks like the enemy 5100 has basically decided the same thing. Screw fighting those guys, I don't need to deal with that crap. I'm going to go to their base and take out their arty. So, interesting move by the enemy 5100 player, but it looks like he's going to bag himself an M4043. And I definitely spoke too soon on that because the 4043 just TD'd the hell out of that guy. So with the TD shot from the 4043, match ends. Victory is Rochi's. Well, guys, before we get on to the post-battle results for Rochi's T-54 battle, I just wanted to make one little disclaimer, and that is, like I mentioned during the battle footage, I only maintain World of Tanks in its most updated version. So currently right now it's version 8.9, and I don't have any of the old versions of the game, so I can't play 8.7 replays, for example, because I do not have the 8.7 client installed. I have the 8.9 client installed. And since I'm going to sea on the 25th of November, and I'm not getting back until probably about January 2nd or January 5th, sometime like that, there's actually a possibility that another patch might be deployed while I'm gone. There are some rumors about stuff like that, and I have no idea how concrete those rumors are, but basically, when I get home from the ship, if there's a patch and I have gotten a replay from anybody, I won't be able to watch it if I upgrade my game. So what I'll probably do is if I get any battle replays sent in, I'll wait what I'll probably do is I'll make sure I don't update the game on my PC, so that if I have anything that requires the current version of the game, I can actually view it. And once I've viewed the replay, I will decide whether or not I want to put it on my channel. And at that point, I will either record it or I will not record it, and then I will update my game. So if there is a patch and anybody does send in anything, just let me know in the email subject line which version of the game it's for, just so that I know right off the bat whether or not I need to fiddle with my game client or whether or not I can just update straight away. And again, that email address you can use is CaptainDorjasArmory@gmail. So guys, anyway, let's take a look at Rochi's post-battle results, because this was a pretty impressive battle and I think it's worth taking a look at it. Alright, so post-battle results, very impressive. That was not the first win of the day, and we can see that Orochi managed 1,969 experience, which is pretty good. He also picked up the steel wall and 331,198 credits. So this is obviously a replay with some sort of event going on. I know that on the NA server, if you get 24 kills and survive 7 battles, on the next battle you play after that, you get 250,000 credits. So there might be something like that going on. The EU server probably has the same thing going on, so that's probably where all this money came from. But anyway, we can see here, Litany of Destruction. Rochi didn't shoot that many tanks, but he shot all of those tanks a lot of times. So while that might not be the longest Litany of Destruction, it contains a lot of destruction in a very small space. So let's take a look at the list. We can see Rochi managed 4,911 damage, which is very good. Doubling the damage of the Jagdtiger and the E75 on his team. And no one, well, the Lorraine 15550 with 2,000 came pretty close. But nobody after those three came even close. Wow, just a lot of damage there. You can see the enemy team, they're top 4 coming in between 1250 and 1800. That's, it's not great. It's not awful, but it ain't great. So, the enemy team had, they had more players who did damage, but they had no players who really stood out. Rochi's team actually had a lot of people who didn't really contribute anything. Now, an ELC and a 2801 in that battle, you don't expect them to rack up massive amounts of damage, so we can forgive them. And these two tier 7s, that was a pretty rough battle for those guys as well, so we can kind of forgive them, but like a Lorraine, you really ought to be able to do something. So anyway, enough talk about that. Let's take a look at this, performance-wise here. Rochi fired 21 shots, 18 hits, 16 penetrations, so that's not too bad. 4,911 damage, which is awesome. He received 11 hits. Of those 11 hits, only 4 penetrated. That is a great testament to the strength of the T95. That's a great testament to the strength of the T-54's armor. He was getting shot at by a Centurion 7-1, a T-29, a T-54, and an AMX 5100, and he managed to deflect 7 hits, so that is pretty good, as all of those tanks have 200 plus penetration with their standard AP rounds. So that's pretty good. Pretty good for him. About 1,000 damage from assistance, which isn't too bad, since he definitely was not playing the scout role in that battle. He was playing the carry role. So carrying with 5,000 damage and another 1,000 assistance is pretty nice. And we can see that with the event credits on there, he managed a healthy profit of 279,000. But even if we whack off 250k from that, he still would have made almost 30k credits profit, and that is quite a bit considering he spent 36,000 on ammo, 13,000 on the tank itself, and 3,000 on another consumable. So still would have been a pretty decent profit margin without the event credits. Without the event credits, though, in a standard account, he would have lost quite a bit of money. So you can see there that that is kind of a great reason to have premium accounts. Anyway, that was a pretty nice battle from Rochi. He definitely played really well, destroyed some serious enemy opposition, and just generally laid down the pain. So I hope you enjoyed that subscriber replay. If you have subscriber replays that you want to send in, feel free to send them in to CaptainDorjasArmory@gmail.com. I will put the link in the video description, and it'll flash up on screen anytime I say that email address. And I do not promise that I will post every replay sent to me, but I will at the very least watch every replay sent to me, and if I think that I want to put it up there, I definitely will. So far, I've only had 2 people send me replays, but feel free to do so if you so choose. I have no qualms about showing good subscriber content, especially since I only have 46 subscribers. So feel free to send them in. And guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed watching this battle. Rochi played a really good T-54 game. T-54 is a great tank. Airfield's a fun map for the T-54, and he lived up to what that tank can do, definitely, and kicked some serious enemy teeth in. So I hope you enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed watching it. Until next time, guys, this is Captain Dorja, and just remember, you can never have enough big guns.